should be preparing to live stream the meeting, says.
All right.
And I can't tell yet. Got it. Should be preparing to live stream the meeting. Oh, says.
All right. You're all set.
We gotta get gotta get rid of that. Okay. Alrighty, now I gotta go through the dance and get it posted on Stunt Hangar.
Yeah, it'll be a good night. You have a good night. You have a good night. Because a lot of your audience love your build, so they should tune in.
All right, I will talk to you later. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. Take care. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. See ya.
Alrighty, here we are. Software that I don't normally use. Had to get some help from Charles. I'm going to get it posted up on Stunt Hangar. It'll be at the bench. Let's see here. So give me a second. I have bad eyes. I can't see exactly what I'm doing, so I gotta walk up close. Okay, so we got this. And we're gonna go to YouTube. And I want to make sure that I go to Studio. Alrighty. Content. We should be streaming live. Yeah, we're live there. We're going to turn that on. I will summarize the link here in a second in Stunt Hangar. I want the live chat to record, so we'll put that, hit save. A lot of buttons to jump through to get this to work. We'll go back here. And we're going to go here to the control room. We're going to turn this on. All right. Now, I need to get back to the live stream here. Open. And we're going to hit more. We want to invite. Participate. Invite. Copy invite leak. All right. Now we're going to go to Stunt Hangar. And post a link here. At the bench. And new topic. Christmas stream. CHRISTMASSTREAM. And we're going to put the link and post. Now, the link for this is just one line. It says Christmas stream. Click on the link. There's none of the invite phone numbers and all that other business. So you're going to have to go just click on the link and come on in. I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. I don't know if anybody's going to join me. If somebody doesn't join me in the next 15 minutes, I'll consider this a wash, and we'll just kill the stream, and that'll be it. So I am, let's see, I better get that up. We got 2 viewers, and warning, stream's current bit rate is blah, blah, blah. I don't understand. I mean, you can't get any. I'm plugged in. Open widget. Merry Christmas, Craig. I got your message. I'm so busy. When I click on, I can't type and do all this other shit. I have to be up and running by this time. So open the widget. I don't know. It's warning me of something here. I'm plugged into the. Well, we're not going to worry about that. We'll just pop this chat out. Pop out chat. There we go. I'm going to close this window. We'll push stop, I guess, so we don't eat up all the bandwidth. We got a good connection, it says. It better be. The link to the meeting is on Stunt Hangar at the bench. It just says the Christmas meeting. I move my chat over here so I can see what's going on. And we'll give that. Man, I don't know what I'm doing here. There it is. Back to normal. All right. I figured one of the guys coming in tonight, we talk about old times. I don't mean old times like an old time stunt. I mean 60s and up. I get out Wynn's book because I'm looking for this is the night before stunt, I guess. Hey, I noticed. Hey, I found my airplane. Hey, here comes Gary Sinclair. Welcome, Gary. Let me get rid of this chat box here. Are you muted or something? I can't I don't know what happened here. There you are.
Yep, I got in.
All right, great. I hope the picture's cycling back and forth. I just noticed, you know, I've had this book 1980 to 2014, which is volume 2. The second page of this book is my P-47 plane of the year. A rendering. I didn't know it was up here. There we go. Wait a minute. Right there.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good Christmas.
That's good.
Santa Claus brought me a sander. I got some little trees from Bob Ross, a box of wood, a bunch of glue. Can't complain. So I'm looking for some type of paint job for my profile. I'm hoping some more people will join us tonight so I don't have to talk for an hour. Luciano. So what do you got going on?
Not much. Just taking care of my wife and
All
trying to
right,
make it day by day.
all right, guys, get in there, and I'm sure Dennis Admission will be here in a minute. Usually is.
I would think so.
You know, yeah, I would think. Boy, look at Bob Hunt. How young a guy he is in 1980. Billy Warwick was pretty young in 1980. Even Wendy's on here. Doesn't look the same. Dave Fitzgerald. He looks like a little kid. Arlie Pressler. Dennis Mission with his Eclipse finished 10th at the 80 U.S. Nationals. Do you have this book, Gary?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
No.
you should get it. This book was gifted to me by an anonymous gifter. I surely thank them very much for this book. Gene Martini at the 1980 Nationals with his Mariner. That must have been the 20-pointer. I don't know. Anybody hear from Gene at all? I haven't heard from him in quite a few years. Wonder if he's okay. The Mariner, first plane to receive a full 20 appearance points by Gene Martini in 1981. Isn't that something? Ted Fancher. I don't know how he won the concourse in 81, but Martine won 20 points, but what it says here. Pampa wagons. Yeah. But Jimmy Casale sure put on some spectacular paint jobs. Pretty bright.
Is your book in color or black and white?
This book is in color.
Okay.
Some of it
Kind of
is.
looks, oh, okay, a little bit. Okay, I see now. Okay. Kind of look black and white the way the angle was there.
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
it's color.
Uh-huh.
Well, hell. Bill Warridge and his parents at the 81 team trials. Isn't that something? Ted Fancher, Bob Barron, and Bill Warridge in 82. Warridge won in 81. Ted Fancher was second. Les McDonald third. Win Paul fourth. Bob Giske was sixth. Huh. He must have been sleeping that year. All right, guys, come on in.
Come
And
on. Yeah, come on in here, guys.
give us a hand. Did you get the link off Stunt Hangar
Or what?
to get in here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, here's something I didn't know. Do you remember Frank Carlisle?
No.
Frank Carlisle had Miss Detroit seen at the 82 Nationals. I didn't know he was that involved. I thought hey, there we go. We got some more.
Yeah, got some coming in there.
So what you got going on there, Brad?
Still got Christmas stuff going on a little bit. Trying to work off the big meal.
We had pot roast. Good.
We had ham, spiral cut ham. It was good.
I'm just going over this book here looking for a paint job for my profile. And we got to get Dennis in here. He keeps it going pretty good. Cycle 2, Joe Weinhardt. Okay. Well, I'm glad everybody
Mhm.
had a good Christmas. Dave Hemstroth.
Yeah.
The MiG sweeper at 83 Nationals, 900 squares for my 88-inch wingspan. I guess Wendy wanted to make sure they could see it. His Apteryx. That was the smallest Juno. Yeah. Well, come on, guys. Let's talk about something.
Did you go flying today?
No, hell no. It's raining.
If I hadn't had a bunch of Christmas shit today, I probably would have went flying here. It was, well, I went to Len and Naomi's for supper tonight, and 7:30 local time. It was 11 Celsius, about, I don't know, 53, 54 Fahrenheit.
So you're up in Canada, huh?
Yeah.
You guys haven't run Trudeau out on the rail yet?
I was hoping he'd leave interest, just leave on his own.
Well, probably not.
No, politicians are like that. They don't seem to like leaving. Even when they're not wanted.
That Spectrum I had, I used to have two of Jimmy Cassell's Spectrums. Here we go. We got some more people coming in. John Miller and Mini 4. Oh, that's
Oh.
you.
Yeah, okay.
All right. That's good. I won't have to carry the show. So I can't see the name up there. So whoever Mini 4 can't see.
Bob
Oops.
Whitley.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah. Hey, Sparky and the gang.
Yeah, you're up.
Merry
Hi.
Christmas to everyone.
Hey.
So who all we got here tonight? Let me go to gallery here. Oh, just a few of us, good old standbys.
Yeah.
So
Well,
everyone have a good Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I watched your shows today, Sparky, and yesterday. That was really nice of you to put that on.
what did I do? I don't remember.
You actually took the time to talk with everyone and sort of do an open house seminar thing that you did, and people like me that are just at home with myself and my wife. It was kind of nice to tune into you and just sort of vicariously enjoy the modeling.
Well, anybody ask me a question, I'll give an answer. Somebody
Yeah,
wanted
I
me
just
to.
caught you from time to time and mostly did the rerun thing, but yeah, it was good.
I'm going to explain this on here so that everybody can understand it. I was asked to do another hinge video. I'm not doing another hinge video. I got 10 of them on the channel. How you find those videos is you go to my channel, the homepage where it says Stunt Hangar, and it's got all them airplanes at the top. Come down underneath there, there's a little magnifying glass. It's not real pronounced, but you click on that magnifying glass and type like hinges. Click on the magnifying glass and type hinges, and it'll pull up all my videos that relate to hinges. I guess YouTube has a poor way of indexing. You can't find anything, but my channel is real easy to find stuff. If you just click on the magnifying glass and type hinges or not monocoat, but covering or polyspan or whatever. It all
Yep.
comes,
Yeah, I think you explained that pretty straightforward. I would hope they figure it out. If they don't, they're not, probably not smart enough to build a model anyway.
Ooh, yeah,
John's he getting in, is he?
I hear him.
Yeah.
I see
I
his
see
name.
me. I don't see you guys. I just see your names.
Your bandwidth must be super low then.
Yeah, I think everybody's on their computers in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
there's
how did
somebody
Christmas?
popped in.
How did Christmas treat everyone? We know Sparky already gave his rundown. Sounded pretty good for him. How about you,
Alright.
Gary?
Yeah. Did all right, I guess.
Get some new toys?
Don't need that. Nah. No new toys.
What about you, Brad?
Nah, I got enough stuff. The way I build, I got a lifetime of models to build.
I think we all do, don't we?
Yeah.
Probably.
You do anything special, John, or anything neat?
Yeah, I hit a deer last night on the way home from Salt Lake.
Oh, great.
Oh,
So you got venison for New Year's.
Dang thing wouldn't lay still. It jumped up right away, but got about $1,000 worth of damage to my car.
Yeah, a lot less than the car that I'm rebuilding that got hit by a deer, or a deer hit it or something. But
The
I
darn
think
things,
that
you know, go ahead.
yeah, there was no blood and guts or anything. The amount of damage on this car, I think the deer he hit was colored green and it was named John.
Well, this one did some damage to the metal work, and I noticed my overflow from my my oh come on, it's hell to get old. My cooling system is
Yeah.
hanging down and messed up and leaking, and
You got
the
away
door
lucky.
doesn't shut right.
This car, it's a Volkswagen Jetta GLI 2-liter turbo, loaded, really nice. From the firewall back, practically mint. But there's only 2 little pieces of plastic from the windshield forward that I didn't have to replace, plus most of the sheet metal and the radiators and all kinds of crap. Intake manifold, it's
Yeah.
huge amount. You got away
Well,
lucky.
I saw the thing as I came up on it, and I've got pretty good reflexes. I swerved real quick, you know, to miss him and I would have missed him, but you know how deer are. They see danger, they turn around, try to run back where they came from. So he ran right.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't have swerved, I'd have cut him dead center, as it was. He on my passenger side fender, and the side mirror on that is what got messed up. And,
Yeah.
you know, the passenger side wheel well has got a little damage inside of it. So
Yeah. So Santa was kind of nice to me. We decided that original Goldberg Cosmic Wind kit in the red box that I picked up, that'll be my Christmas present, official one, and then we're going to go out to a fancy concert and dinner and all that in February when it hits town. So, so I've got 2 of the 3 airplanes I want. Pardon me, John?
it was good to me. Brought me this new chair here. See?
Well, we can't see. You're all black.
Oh, I can see you guys now. Anyway, so I got a new chair. Doesn't fall over or fall apart when I sit in it anymore.
Does it meet your cat's approval?
My cats love it. I have to take
Good.
the cat fur off of it all the time.
Then it's the right chair for you. So I don't know if I asked before to you guys, but if anybody's got a original Buster kit, I want to pick up one. I've got 2 original shoestrings and the Cosmic Wind, but I'd be happy to trade one of the shoestrings. But anyway, I just want, for nostalgia's sake, all three of the original Goldberg kits.
I got a Brodak Buster, but
Not interested in the Brodak. Got to be original. But even though they can be cantankerous, I'll probably use that as mounts for some of my Fox 35s that I've got in the drawer.
Which one? What are you wanting?
Buster, the Goldberg Buster.
Oh, yeah. That's a good little kit. That's it's not as good for racing as the Cosmic Wind, and it's not as good for stunt as the shoestring, but it's a really good kit.
I just want all three of them for nostalgia.
That's what I've got.
I don't know if you tuned in there when I was asking Phil, but I've got the Cosmic Wind and 2 shoestring kits untouched. But if somebody's got an extra Buster and wants a shoestring, I'd be happy to trade or pick it up for the Buster for a reasonable price.
Let me see if I'll talk to the guys to see if anybody else has got one. Got a kit, original kit.
Yeah.
They're fun little airplanes. My silk covered.
Yeah, well,
it's pretty neat.
Well, I built the replica one a little bit fancier, the Cosmic Wind. That's 100% scratch built that I sent to Gary for the calendar, but built that just in tribute to it. But I want to put together 3 of the originals.
Oh yeah, that'd be neat. Mine has a Red Hat 35 on it because that's what my little brother had on his. I just kind of built it as a tribute to him.
Well, the one I got right now, I built as a tribute to my dad. And unfortunately, he died before I could get him out to be able to see it fly.
Well, I had the same problem with Bert. He passed away, and I've never flown the airplane.
But this one's got the original Fox 35 on it, shiny case, and it's still got good pop to it. And I actually found the original bell crank, the old perfect 3-inch metal bell crank. So I've got that in there just for nostalgia. Went with the wooden horn and all that.
I tell you one that is blowing my mind on a regular basis. Buddy Barbie is flying a Chiseler. And he's flying it on a Fox 35, not just a Fox 35, but a bone stock Fox 35. Come on, come here. Come on. The terrorist wants his 5 minutes of fame, guys. Anyway, he's not only flying it on a Fox 35, he's flying it on zero nitro. And it flies very well.
Well, this one here that I did up for tribute to my dad, I contemplated since he died if I was going to actually fly it. I decided this spring I'm going to put up one flight on it, nothing crazy, maybe some wing overs and loops and 8s, and that'd be about it if I go that far. And then hang it on the wall.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it'll be on the opposite end of the wall from my old Sterling Great Lakes biplane that I built, one of my earliest models. And my mom absolutely loved that airplane, so I'll never fly that again, too. That'll be the tribute to her.
Yeah, I tell you what. Mom always wanted me to do a green airplane. So I finally built a green airplane. Took it to Hobby Park. Flew it. Well, yeah, I guess you could say I flew it. It took off and it flew and landed. But that thing disappeared so many times I was scared to do anything with it. Green against all those trees and green grass and everything. It blended in so well. I got it back down, wiped it off, and brought it home. I said, that's a mistake. We'll try that again in the fall. And I never did. It's still hanging downstairs.
Well, getting that first airplane was quite the shocker for me. I wanted a Cox PT-19 for Christmas in 1971. And I didn't get it. I got a box full of wood called a Cosmic Wind on this Fox 35. And I had to learn, there was nobody, I'd never seen a model airplane before. Nobody in town had one. So I got a subscription to Model Airplane News and I got the thing together. I was kind of chicken shit about doing the covering. So I ended up sheeting the thing. It ended up too damn heavy. But you know what? I learned to fly on it. It didn't last all that long, but it bit the bug and I had a real engine to use for the day and just went nuts after that. The hook was set.
Yeah. 1971, back in the days when you could go to the hobby shop and buy some wood, it was a really good piece of 1/16 and it cost you about 36 cents.
Yeah. Well, in mid-construction, we moved from Saskatchewan to Alberta to a town south of Edmonton called Leduc. And in junior high there was a few other kids that had the Goldberg kits. We all had the
Yeah.
Box 35s and stuff. And so we formed our own little model club and helped us out with, what we could on building and flying and stuff. And we had
Yeah.
launchers and we all had a hell of a good time.
Yeah, that's what it was all about back then. I had a ringmaster, similar things. Had one friend that would come and launch for me, and two other guys across town I'd catch up with on Saturday afternoons. They'd come over to the school where I flew, and we'd all get together and fly. Strange,
Then we
Jack was
moved-
never available on Saturday, so he never did get to come watch us. A group of us fly. We had one guy that could really fly. I was just going around in circles basically, and so was Tony at the time. But anyway, we're having a good time.
Thought I heard
And a couple of years later, we moved north, 30 miles to Edmonton, and I got involved with Birds of a Tether, which was pretty much the biggest model air controlling club in Canada at the time. And some of the guys there are still with our current club, and a couple of them, and some of the guys that are retired from everything. I go out for breakfast with them every Friday to Harvey's there, and we just have a hell of a good time.
Yeah. It's funny
Friends
now.
you get in this,
Now I'm
they're
flying
for life
electric.
if you want them to be.
Yeah. I think back on it, and I think, it's strange that I've gone electric, because what got me into this in the first place was the sound. I heard the planes flying up at the local park, and got on a bicycle and rode a quarter mile up to the park, watched them going around in circles, got dizzy watching them go around in circles. But I was hooked. And asked one of them if he'd teach me to fly. And he did. He got me to solo. He didn't teach me to stunt, but he taught me to get it up and get it back down in one piece. And I was hooked.
And then I got rehooked. I was away from it for 38 years, just life. But I thought about it all the time. And then I found reconnected with the new club, or connected with them. And they were having a stunt clinic with Paul Walker up here.
Oh,
and so I went out there with my wife, and she'd never seen a model airplane, just heard about them and stuff. And, the second I got out of the car, I could just smell the fuel, the burnt castor oil, and the sound and everything. And wow, it just stripped away 40 years. And from there, it was just obsession again.
Well, I moved from one side of town to the other, moved away from the guys for several years. During that time, turned 16, got a car, went out and found out about drag racing, and went drag racing for about 10 years. And then, no, not quite that long, about 6 years. And then was puttering around at Parkway Plaza one day, and I saw Tom Looper and Bob Galley and 2 or 3 other people out there flying in the parking lot, and went over and met Tommy, and I've been ruined ever since. That was 48 years ago, almost 49 years ago now. So Tommy and I've been flying together for a long time. He's still the best on any given day. He's as good as anybody I've ever seen, including Paul. And Paul he's on another notch. And Paul Walker is the best I've ever seen, but I don't know. There's several that I've seen that are really, really good. Orestes Hernandez has to be considered one of the best pilots I've ever seen. Les McDonald, I think, to my mind, is the best I've ever seen. But he's right there in the mix with, you got Bob Hunt, you got Bob Gieske, you got Al Raby, you got Les McDonald. I mean, Bill Werwidge. I mean, all these guys are not just great flyers, but they're just great guys. You go talk to them and they do anything for you. Just great people.
Speaking of anything for you, that sure was nice of Bob Hunt for Christmas here to give everybody that contacted him that PDFs of his Genesis book.
Oh, shoot. I forgot to do that.
Heck, I did that. I contacted him yesterday evening, and God, within half an hour or so, I had all these emails with the PDFs on them. A hell of a nice guy.
Yeah, I'll have to call him. I need to ask him where to get a hold of a piece of that material he uses for motor mounts for electric motors. That stuff is thank goodness it's hard because I need to rebuild the front end of that thing. I thought I was going to use a piece of plywood and just build a new one. You have any idea how hard it is to find a good piece of plywood now?
Actually, it's
stuff
pretty
we used to
easy.
get was we used to get 7-ply plywood in 1/8 inch or 3/32 inch. And you could get it. You just went down to the hobby store and bought it. It was marine grade plywood's what it was. You
Yeah,
can't buy that stuff now.
I just go down to a supplier I've got and I pick up full sheets of, if I don't have it, pick up full 5x5 Euro sheets of the
Yeah,
seven
but
ply aircraft
check
ply.
the layers in that. It's 5-ply, not 7-ply.
Yeah,
The old
the
stuff was
64th, the 64th and the 32nd are equivalent. I buy the metric. Those are 5-ply, but you get into the thicker woods that we've never used for models. They're 7-ply or more. I've got it up to just over 1/2 inch thick stuff that
Good
for
grief.
full size aircraft. But
Well, I'm looking for a little piece like that of 7-ply 332. If I can't, since I can't find the balsa the plywood, I'm going to try to get Bob to tell me where to pick up a piece of that phenolic.
Well, let me tell you how to do it, Phil.
Okay.
You got some 64th plywood?
Yeah.
Okay, cut your piece out of 64th plywood. How many pieces you want. You know, how thick do you want it? 3/32?
3/32. It'll be 6 pieces.
6 pieces.
Yeah.
Glue it together and you got 6 times, got 30 ply. I mean, it's really strong. That's what I use for my nose rings.
Okay.
yeah, Sparky's right. I've done that sort of thing lots.
That's a good
Phenolic, though,
idea.
if you want it, phone up your plastic suppliers in wherever you live around there and see
Yeah.
if you can get. What I did was I just bought a slightly damaged sheet. Well, actually, I didn't go in for that, but the guy said, a little corner off the sheet, we'll take $20 off. And
Wow.
so I just bought a full, they're not 4x8 sheets. They're, I think, 3x3 or 3x4, something like that. Anyway, I just bought a whole sheet of 16th because I figured that's the minimum that I want. And then if I want thicker, I just laminate it, scuff sand it rough, clean it off with acetone, and JB weld it.
Check with
Oh, probably-
with Amazon. That's where I got mine.
I just use medium
Amazon.
PA to glue it together.
My wife will shoot me when I tell her that. She's told me anything you need, just go to Amazon and find it. And
Yeah.
seems
And
to be
if you want
working.
aircraft ply, most people aren't going to use a full sheet of this stuff ever. Go together with a couple of buddies and split it up.
Mhm.
My supplier donated a couple of sheets for a contest this year, 64th and 32nd. So I just cut them up into 12 by 36 inch strips and did them as door prizes for the contestants as part of all the other stuff I'd gotten.
We used to get that stuff when I was flying sailplane. I bought a sheet of plywood that was 6 feet long. And why 6 feet, not 8, I don't know, but 6 feet long, 4 feet wide. I think I gave $25 for it. And I split that up and made the wings for a big foam winged sailplane I was building. I can't remember which one it was, but I can't remember now. It seems like it was I don't know which one it was, but anyway, you could get it back then, but you try to find that stuff now. And if you find it, they want an arm and both legs for it. It's
well, the big
ridiculous.
thing is don't count on hobby shops to get you anything, and you can't afford the
you
crap
can't get
that they
it.
sell anyway. I mean, the
You can't
maple
get it.
that they sell for motor mounts is garbage, and what's $5 for a little 12-inch piece or something.
Yeah. and
I
it's-
just cut up my scraps and I give it away to anybody in the area who wants it. Unlimited supply of maple.
Man, I need to live closer to you. Now we the last balsa, the last maple that I tried to buy, I was trying to buy a 1/4 inch to build a 1/2 A, and I ended up using basswood because it was honestly harder and straighter than the maple that they sent me. Every piece of maple they sent me was, it was shaped like that. It's just crooked. And you could only need a piece 4 inches long, 2 pieces 4 inches long, 1/4 by 1/4. And everything I got had a crook in it. I said, for crying out loud. So I did the only thing I could do. I went and tried to steam it and get it straight.
Yeah, one of the shops I worked at, they were throwing away these big, there was some sort of a display floor stand thing or something. Anyway, solid maple, a laminate maple, triangles. They're about
Lord.
6 feet long or so, and
Oh, my goodness.
about 6 to 8 inches per side on the triangle. So I've got probably 20 of those. You know, infinite supply of maple available,
Yeah.
and it was free.
You guys got lucky. Every once in a while, even a blind horse finds an acorn. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Well, you look at it this way, I paid my dues. Those cabinet shops, most of them that I worked in were pretty damn shitty places to work at. So sweatshops.
Yeah, if we were to compare notes on lousy places to work, when I was in college, I worked at a corrugated box factory. That nobody should ever have to do that job. That was the worst place I ever worked. But anyway,
we're kind of monopolizing here, Phil. Those we should.
I know it.
Get Stuart and John on board. Merry Christmas.
Let's see what Santa Claus is doing. I see he's out of his little red cap and retired for the year. How are you, John?
Jonathan Cordelis?
Do what?
Jonathan came in. What's going on?
Oh, here's Big John.
Hey, Spanky. How you guys?
Hey, John.
How are you, Jonathan?
Hey, John.
I hope you all had plenty of gravy and cranberry sauce and turkey and mashed potatoes.
Hi.
Must be Boxing Day there by now.
Yeah.
What was that?
Must be Boxing Day there by now.
Boxing Day, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, put them up.
That's not the kind of boxing it's supposed to be.
No, you put everything away.
Do those cranberries grow in New Zealand or what?
Yep. Yeah, we grow pretty much everything here. Kiwi fruit, avocados, cranberries, strawberries. We grow
But not
a lot.
balsa wood.
That's cool.
There's even a guy up north growing, you wouldn't believe it, starting to grow bananas commercially and pineapples in our northern, our northern climes.
So you're going to start
So
growing
can you
balsa
grow
wood?
balsa wood?
No, not as far as I know.
That has to be.
Not as far as I
They have a
know.
lot of water for that.
Well, yeah, it's yeah.
Fast growing tree though.
I just wish we could stop them being destroyed when they chop up these windmills. The
Amazon.
the blades. Yeah,
The turbines.
Oh, those turbines. Yeah.
turbine blades.
Now,
are
y'all
full
were
of
talking.
balsa.
Y'all were talking about turbines the other night, and I was trying to get in to tell you. I was talking about the 3-blade turbines. Well, we had one here in North Carolina. It was up in Boone. It had 2 blades. And the reason that they don't do the reason that thing, they took the blades down, took it to the Nature Science Center, and it sat out there in front of the Nature Science Center for about 10 years. Pretty thing, very, very sleek, looked like an airfoil wing. It was really pretty. But they eventually took it down. I tried to get part of it when they was going to cut it up. I tried to get it. They wouldn't sell it to me. Wouldn't let me have it. I couldn't get it. Nothing. I mean, it had to be all. They cut it up with a chainsaw, took it over, and burn it. Now you tell me how that makes any sense. But anyway, the reason they do 3 blades instead of 2 blades is because a 2-blade goes whop, whop, whop. Every time a blade comes down, it's a big loud whop as it comes by the base, and you can hear it for miles. That's the reason they took the thing down in Boone and moved it to Cherokee, and in the Indians didn't want it on the reservation because same thing. He said it shook the ground, so they took it down and brought it to the Nature Science Center. But the Indians were smart enough not to take the tower down, just the blade. They put a big 3-blade one up there. And now the casino is air generated.
Well, one of the advantages of 3-blade is that there's always a blade into the wind for starting it.
Mm-hmm. But this thing, it's variable pitch, variable everything. But man, what a
3-blade doesn't need it to be as big a span for the amount of thrust either. Like the 2-blade has to be bigger.
Now the balsa that they core it with, I'd heard that they pulp it up or vertical grain it or whatever, that it's useless if you cut it up anyway.
This wasn't. I had heard that, but this wasn't. I've got some pictures I have to try to find them and figure out how to show y'all. It was not all ingrained. I'd heard that from several places, but it was not that way.
What?
Now this may be that may be the way they did it then, and now they do it vertical grain. I don't know, but that one was not vertical grain. That was long, beautiful sheets, and this stuff was light. The guy came out, very large dude with a very big gun on his hip, come out there and told me, you can't have that. I said, I'm willing to buy it. They wouldn't sell it.
If they'd smarten up and go like aviation did in the 1980s and get rid of any kind of natural core material and go to the pure composites and just, get into the last century, far less this one.
Yeah, Chevrolet still uses balsa wood in the frame of the Corvette.
The floor.
They didn't, huh?
The floor. Corvette
the floor. I
floors.
thought it was the frame. I thought it was a frame. Maybe it is floor. I don't know. But I know they still use it in the Corvettes. Brother went and took a tour. My brother owns some Corvettes. And he went and took a tour of Chevrolet plant where they build them. Wanted to see his car being built. And he said he couldn't believe he saw him putting balsa wood in the car.
I guess the shipping industry still uses it some too for hull lining.
Man.
Yeah.
What a waste. Oh well, anyway.
Phil, I got cut off there. I don't know what happened. The internet kicked me out and I missed a bit, but you were talking about the 2-blade and the 3-bladed windmills. They tried, they did a bit of research here with 2-blade windmills, and they didn't work as well. They weren't for some reason they tossed them out. They went with the 3 blades.
2-blade made too much noise.
Yeah, well,
that's why they said they went through got rid of the one here, because they said when it come around, it made a sound like whop, but they said you could hear that thing 10 miles down the valley.
Ah, right.
So they said they just got rid of it. They moved it, took the blade off, and took it to one on the Indian reservation, and they said the same problem there. It was just too loud, so they got rid of it.
Yeah, back in the
I didn't know
80s,
they had
we were
one
living
on the
right
Indian
off the grid.
reservation. This is all secondhand, but anyway, that's what I was told anyway.
Yeah, we were living right off the grid back in our fifth wheel out in the middle of nowhere in the late 1980s. Wow. And for trickle power generation, I took a car alternator. Generator wouldn't work because you can't get them going fast enough. But I took an alternator and just welded some pieces of conduit on it, 3 stubs. And I took big stainless steel mixing bowls. I put them on it. On the slightest breeze, that sucker would spin. Now, it wouldn't put out much power, but when we weren't home, which was most of the time, it would trickle charge our storage batteries. In those days, we would have given our eye teeth for solar panels, but they were thousands of dollars then.
Yeah, now they have a program here where they say the government will pay for your solar panels, but if you order them, if you let the guys come out and look, they want to put it all over the roof of your house. And what they're going to do, they're going to feed it back to the power company. You don't get the power. You still have to. Oh, anyway, I don't understand exactly how it works, but you don't use the power that you make on your roof, and they won't. Right. They won't let you put it out in the backyard. They want it on your house roof. No.
Well, if it's like up here, when you put the power into the power company, they theoretically pay you for it, but your power fee for what you actually use is nothing compared to all the service fees that they have through all these bloody private providers. You don't know who the hell you're dealing with. It could be 5 freaking companies. And almost all
you
of your
bill pay for those bloody cells.
They're putting taxes on taxes on taxes on it too, because every sub component of the bill gets hit with a federal tax again, and it just keeps compiling. And so the only way I'd go with any kind of power generation of my own, if I was 100% off grid.
Yeah. I talked to them about it. The guy was just, he wanted to put them on the house. He wanted to put them on my outbuilding. He wanted to put it on everything. I said, man, you're nuts.
So back to flying related on that, I had a thought the other day. Just driving
Go for
along,
it.
those random thoughts you get. In
Oh,
my
yeah.
full-size flying survival kit, when I'm ferrying a plane or up north or whatever,
Uh-huh.
you know, one thing of concern all the time is your cell phone, your iPad, whatever. Yeah, you might get satellite and know where you are and everything and try and communicate, but those devices are dead within 48 hours.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
had the thought, they sell it for camping all the time. These little, these small solar cells that you can fold or roll up. I'm thinking about just buying one of them and throwing them in my damn survival kit. Keep the devices charged so that if somebody is flying over, I can call them.
My daughter has something about the size of a, whatever you call this thing, daily planner. And it's a photo cell. She lays it on the dashboard of her car. And the darn thing charges up. She can run her telephone for a week off that thing.
Well, I noticed that
Very
the
strange.
Porsche dealer in town here the one day, all of their vehicles that are out in the lot, they've got those little chargers sitting on the dash because, you know, all the modern cars are just parasites. Like my wife's Scion, if it sits for 2 or 3 weeks, it's dead. You got to charge the battery.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Y'all read that. One of the guys in my fly tying class gave me that a few weeks ago. Without flashbacks, I'd have no memory at all. I said, now that's cool.
Love it.
He's
That's
the interesting thing about that, he's a Methodist pastor. I said, well, I'm a good Moravian. He said, no problem. He came in the next week and gave me a hat. He was still wearing his. So I didn't give me his. He had me one made. He's a great guy. There's a bunch of good people in that class.
That's cute.
But anyway, I got one of them supposed to be going to first of the year come out and watch us fly. And if he says, I love airplanes. He says, I just can't afford to fly anymore. So that's the reason I fly models. They're not near as expensive. He says he's going to come out and watch us. And if he likes what he sees, he'll try to get into it.
Well, I'm going to try my
I don't know.
darndest to seriously semi-retire next year, this coming year. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because I got to get the nice days and get some handle time in. I'm way behind on learning the pattern. I only get a few flights a year, though. And, you know, you can't learn bugger all on that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm trying to compete with guys that are getting 500 flights a year, and I'm lucky if I get 2.
I did more flights in the week of our contest this year than I'd done in the previous 3 years combined.
Wow. I can't beat that. Good gracious.
Now, I'm not talking very many. That's still only like 20, maybe 30 flights.
Yeah. And I love to fly, but I'm hoping this next year will be a better year for getting flights in. I've been fighting this neck mess for 2 years now, at least. And I think we might be on the short end of the stick. I hope get it fixed and get it back where I can look up and do something. We'll see. I don't know. Talking to Tommy and talking to Tom Dixon on the phone and a few other people, I think I found a way to do it. And it's still going to be a lot of guesswork because you're going to be letting the plane, it's going to disappear and you got to turn around and catch it and bring it around. But we'll see. We'll see. It's better than flying it out here in front of you.
What I need to do is I got to overcome that fear of the ground. It's not like I got a shortage of, you know, semi-beater or whatever capable models to go out and fly with. And if it crashed one, fine, hook the lines on another one. I just got to discipline myself to doing that. It's still like the kid mentality, you know, where every penny you had went into a model. Well, I'm surrounded by like 50 of them right now in my room between free flight RC and mostly control line. And
you have anything that's covered in monocoque?
Oh yeah.
Well, take the ones that like a monocoque airplane. And mine was a SIG Twister, and it was covered in monocoque, white K&B on the fuselage, Fox 35 engine, little cheap engine, and go out and just fly it and just do everything with it. If you bust it, strip it completely down. Everything that's busted, strip it off and redo it completely. Don't patch it, redo the whole wing. That sounds silly. It sounds like, oh, I can just redo this. But no, you want to have enough time invested in it that you care enough about it not to just bash it, but enough ability to let it go to where you can just go. If you bash it, it's not going to break your heart.
Well, I got several other rugged stunt trainers that I built to use for that.
Oh, that's a good plane for it.
And although they don't fly near as good as I expected, the airfoil's kind of
Yeah.
thin on them. And, plus I've got my Oriental that I picked up used to fly. I really don't have I've got zero emotional investment in it. But I made a big mistake using that one for a contest, figuring, well, I don't have to worry about it too much. But I had to do so much trimming and everything on it and pissing around with it and wasting flights that I should have taken my Vector 40 profile, which flies perfectly.
Yeah.
I should have used that and not wasted that time on trimming that thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
What
Phil,
is that book over your left shoulder? Is that Mein Kampf?
Might be.
Right there.
Firefox.
It's two rows up from
I
where
got
I'm
thousands
looking.
of books here. I
Yeah.
don't see Mein Kampf. Nope. I might have
Well,
it
look
somewhere,
up-
but
Right there on the end, it looks like Hitler's face.
there.
No. Behind you. Yeah. That row behind
Let's
you.
see
Right
here.
there. No, not that far behind you. It's over your left shoulder.
Over my left shoulder. Okay, we're on a hunt here.
Right there. You ought to be able to see it now, right there.
Okay, my finger pointing.
Row, take to the left and up one row. Right there on the end. Right there.
Oh, that's Hitler's last days.
Oh, okay.
And beside that is the last 100 days. Beside that is Patton.
Yeah.
Inside
Patton's
the
a good
Green
book.
Berets, Charlie Company. I got
I got a
I
buddy
got-
who's a Green. I got a buddy who's a Green Beret, Vietnam era Green Beret. He says before he retired that he went out to something palms, 16 palms or whatever it is.
29
California.
palms.
What? 29 palms. There you go. And trained with the SEALs for a week. He said, them boys ain't no joke. And let me tell you, Sarge is a real deal. And he thinks the SEALs are some bad boys. So them boys must be something else.
something that used to be funny back in the 70s when I was in the artillery here. And we'd do joint training exercises with Americans, go down there sometimes, or they'd come up. And in Europe, they knew different on our uniforms. But what was funny, they had a lot of guys hadn't seen a Canadian uniform, and our standard issue is the Green Beret, which actually Canada sold Green Berets to the Green Berets at the time. So they were identical. And right off the bat, they're thinking we were all Special Forces Green Beret Americans or something. It was hilarious.
I thought you
We've
guys
got a
were
guy down
Dudley
here-
Do-Right uniforms.
Yeah. We've got a guy down here that used to be a.
We
Go
call
ahead.
them the gravel road cops.
Well, we got a guy down here that used to be a Canadian Mountie, and he still got the whole uniform. Every Christmas he dresses up and does the part of the Christmas play here, and he's got to be 75 now, but he still looks sharp in that uniform, buddy. He may walk a little bent over through the year, but you see him on at Christmas in that uniform, he walks a little straighter and he's got a little more zip in his step.
Yeah, the French name for them, and it's on the side of the cars and everything. GRC's the initials. Gendarme Royal Canadien. So out here, we just call them gravel road cops.
I tell you what, I got stopped by one last time I was in Canada. I was out looking, I couldn't find where I was looking for. I can't understand y'all's numbering system. So I guess I just looked lost, and the guy pulled up behind me, and I pulled over and stopped. He walked up, he says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Can you tell me what the heck this means?" And he says, he started laughing. He said, "You passed it 3 blocks back. It's that big orange building. It's a print shop." But I didn't understand what the heck it was. It's half in English and half in French. I just couldn't figure out what it was. So,
We live here and we can't figure that out.
well, anyway, I finally found it. With his help, I found it. But I'm telling you.
Some of them can be
Well,
real helpful, but like anywhere, some of them can be real a-holes too.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I went to Texas and was going to a contest. And the field is down this way, so I'm trying to find the field. And I got a car full of model airplanes, a little Vegas station wagon full of model airplanes. And I'm trying to get to Lubbock, Texas. And it's supposed to turn at this road.
I've been to
And
Lubbock.
again, I got stopped. Cop comes at me, he says, "What are you trying to do? You've come by me 4 times. What are you trying to do?" I said, "These are the directions I got to try to find this highway." And I showed him the paper. He says, "Yeah. Well, all you got to do, you turn around, go back that way. When you go over the 3rd viaduct, take the next left, and that'll take you right to it." Right. What's a viaduct? When they have 2 roads that cross, they take one over the other. They mound the dirt up and take the road over the other. So this one goes through a tunnel. Well, this thing that goes over, that's a viaduct. I'd never heard of such a thing.
We just call them overpasses or underpasses.
Well, that's what we call them, but they call them viaducts. And then if you're ever in Jamaica, if they tell you to go to the 2nd sleeping policeman and take the 2nd left, you know what that is?
Speed bump.
Speed bump.
That's the same as New Zealand. That's what they call them down there.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna have
call
to
'em-
start introducing that here.
We call viaducts. We call them viaducts as well. Speed humps.
I had no
I call them
idea.
hippo humps.
Mm.
Hey
I
Phil, when
had
you were
one that was-
talking, Phil,
they
when
had
you were
one here.
talking,
Go ahead.
when you were talking a wee while back about flying up high and not being able to bend your neck back, you know what you do with it? You know what how you get around that? You trim
on
your
your back
model to
and
fly.
Go ahead.
When you're talking about flying up high, you couldn't
Yeah.
look. Yeah, you just trim your model to fly in circles.
I have enough trouble flying it the way it is. Oh Lord.
I've
wouldn't
lost
be
it
so
over
bad,
the back.
One
It wouldn't
at
be
a
so
time.
bad, but a wing over is what got me in this mess. It was a hourglass. I leaned up to look overhead to get the thing right, and my neck popped, and I went to my knees.
Oh,
Then I'm
no.
sitting there doing lazy eights until the guys were talking, and they hadn't noticed I'd done about 10 lazy eights. I don't think nobody ever did come out to get the airplane. I finally had to land it myself. Got up and landed it myself, but all I could do was sit here and hold my neck and try to get the thing down. I got it down. He says, what was that? You had a problem with the model? No, I had a problem with my neck.
Mm.
So they got turned around, and I'm sitting there taking my lines up, and he says, "Well, aren't you going to fly again?" You're kidding, right? Jeez.
One of our
man.
older pilots, 3 years ago at a contest, he had that happen. He had some sort of a seizure or whatever, or his legs gave out, and he was on his back doing lazy eights. And one of the guys went running out and got the handle from him, and another guy got him off the field. But
We haven't heard from Stuart yet. What are you doing, Stuart?
Not too much. Yeah, not much.
He looks like he'd be chilling.
Yep. Just sitting
There's
here
nothing wrong with that.
relaxing. So
I know what Stuart looks like. Stuart looks like he had too much turkey.
that too.
That's why I'm sitting lean back. Oh
So-
boy, my belly's full.
Stuart, are you in for the road trip to the hobby shop Friday?
I might be able to do that.
I
Yeah.
think we're gonna meet at Len's place about 8:30 in the morning.
Okay. Yep. I'll go.
All right.
you've
I'll
you've still
ask-
got a
I'll ask
decent
this-
hobby shop.
And we're going to the prop shop in Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Oh,
Holy crap. How far is that?
45 miles, 50 miles from here.
Well, I can't say anything. I drive further than that to go buy stuff to tie flies with. So,
We're going out for brunch with all the Detroit guys.
oh, that'd
Probably
be
going
cool.
to be about 20 of us all together before we go to the hobby shop.
That would be cool. That'd be a lot of fun.
A lot of old combat flyers and a few stunt flyers. John Paris, I think, is going to be there.
Big John can fly anything.
Oh, yeah.
He can fly. I've seen him fly some stuff that I didn't believe he'd be crazy enough to grab, but he did it and he flew it well. He's a good guy. Big John's a good dude.
Some of the combat guys, Steve Cott and Ron Marcioni and Colombo and who knows?
Colombo.
Yeah, Ronnie
my
Colombo.
word.
He'll probably be there.
Oh my word.
Oh,
I hadn't seen him in 20 years, I bet.
It should be exciting.
Big John, that don't sound like a pizza. What's the matter with you, man? Oh, yeah.
Cheetos.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it still don't look like no pizza. Yeah.
Well, I'm a bit jealous of you guys getting to get to a decent hobby shop 45 minutes away, because the only one that's got anything control line for me is 90 miles. Well, actually closer to 100 miles.
Well, don't they have one in Leduc?
Nope. There's the in Edmonton. There's Great Hobbies and Wholesale Hobbies. Wholesale doesn't have anything for control line, and Great Hobbies has next to nothing. But they're really good about bringing in anything if they've got it in the system. But there's next to nothing for supplies. Like I 100% cleaned out Great Hobbies on dope thinner and some other stuff, and the Brodak air filters. I bought every one in Canada, but there's next to nothing available. But John Fromm down in Lacombe, he that might be who you're thinking of. He buys estate sales and is Brodak dealer and all that. SIG if you can get it.
Well,
and
he has
John's,
an ad in the Mac magazine.
Yeah, that's the Balsa Dust Factory. That's in Lacombe, not Leduc.
Okay.
That's closer to Red Deer. So, like I say, it's close to 100 miles from where I live. But it works out good because I fly full-size airplanes down there on a somewhat regular basis teaching. And so John, when you go into his hangar hobby shop there, I have to allow at least an hour because he won't let you go. And
one thing we
guy.
have going here is about 2 hours away in Brantford is Aircraft Spruce.
Yeah, I know. I'm jealous.
Oh,
we got nothing out here. When they closed our airport 10 years ago, Goulet shut down, moved everything to Winnipeg, and we have no full-size aircraft suppliers out here in this part of Western Canada anymore.
man, that's a shame. That used
Levens
to be the
is
place
long
to go.
gone.
That
Yeah.
used to be the place to go to get dope, was the airport.
Yeah. We're lucky.
Yeah,
Everybody
we've
else
got
was
a
buying
place.
SIG and all that. We were going and buying full strength stuff. I forgot the name brand. Randolph's, yeah. Going by the full strength, and I had to start using SIG and Brodak, and I thought, what is this stuff? It's already thinned or something. It's weird.
I needed some Insignia Blue just for roundels, so I don't need much of it. So I just ordered in a small can from I got it from Great Hobbies, but it was $13 for this little tiny can. But it's it's enough to last me quite a few models. But
the thing with Aircraft Spruce up here, if you want colors, you got to call about 3 days before because they blend it. They mix the paint to order for you. You just can't go pick it up.
The downside with them for me is it just kills you for the freight out to Edmonton.
Yeah.
If I want to order a few gallons of dope or whatever, or anything. And they seem to be pretty lackadaisical about filling orders and letting you know. There's some things that I waited around for 8 months on.
Yeah, I ordered some red from them and paid for it in advance. If I hadn't kept the receipt, I never would have got it. That was a bad deal.
I think it really depends on who's behind the counter to take the order.
I think you're right.
And I in any of these companies, I don't do their internet ordering. I phone and get a person.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the
Don't way to do it.
No, Aircraft Spruce, you're talking to someone right there. If I'm dealing with full size, training supplies or something, I'll call Calgary Pilot Supply and talk directly to the person behind the counter.
Makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, these
Hey,
places I don't
speak-
think are really big enough to have their Philippine connections and all that.
Yeah.
Speaking of supplies, guys, as you know, I've mentioned before using foam, and this
Mhm.
is the replacement wing for what I call my pacemaker, which I smashed up a few weeks back. And these ribs are made from 5mm foam. Now I'll turn them over. There we go. I haven't put cappers on this one yet. And this stuff's from Mighty Ape. I don't know whether you can see the foam there. The wingtips foam as well.
Yeah.
The only thing you can't do with it, it's hell of a light and strong. This wing's super light so far and strong as hell. But the only thing you can't do with it is you can't dope it. The
No.
dope just
No,
it
that
just
wouldn't work too well.
when you want to. I'm going to use shrink wrap on this thing, and I'll have to be careful with the heat build up too on the wingtips. When you put it on, I've got a balsa capper just around the edge here, but you can get it on as long as you don't hold the iron on there too long. But those ribs cost me about $4 instead of about $20 in balsa wood, or probably a little bit more.
Nice.
You know what might work is what some of the free flight guys are doing, John. The DocuLam, the shrink film for paper and stuff that you use. You can get it either self-adhesive or iron-on.
Yeah.
A lot of the free flight guys have been covering their models with that, and then scuffing it and covering it with lightweight tissue paper, and then they can paint whatever they want on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, worth looking at. Yeah, I think it's worth looking at this stuff because it can offer some advantages, especially cost advantages. Yeah, I'm just picking that wing up. I haven't actually weighed it, but oh man, it's super light. It really is. It's amazing. And there's
A question for
strength.
y'all.
Hi.
Have y'all tried that last year or year before, everybody started talking to me about, I was looking for tissue and they said use doctor paper.
Yeah.
Well, I did that. I didn't like it. It gets too heavy. But how about this stuff that shirts come in or that you stuff in the bags with your Christmas presents? Man,
Tissue paper.
I got tons of that stuff around here. I wonder if it'd work. I'm gonna try it.
The doctor's paper, that might be different weights as well. I've used some here. I used some here on the tail of the rudder of the Hurricane. Here it is. And it's not this wasn't heavy. That's doctor's paper. And that wasn't, it's just like about the same thickness as silk span. And,
that's what I'm thinking. It looks about like silk span. I think it ought to work.
Actually, I've used it very successfully. I've got a case of it. But what I bought, I'd have to look it up what the part number is. But when it first came out on Stunt Hangar, that one guy had researched a whole bunch of it, and I made sure I bought exactly what he had said. Now I had to get it in the States, and they wouldn't ship to Canada. But fortunately, my brother-in-law was in Montana at the time, so I had it shipped there and got it. So I've got a case of the stuff. I've done 3 or 4 models with it, including my chipmunk. I was real happy with the results. I mean, it handled exactly like silkspan and had no issues with it for filling or anything.
Jim said to me that Jim, I don't know whether he's on there, but Jim said to me that some of the guys that have used doctor's paper had trouble with it in high humidity. Well, it's the last couple of days here, we've been up in the 90s for humidity, and this stuff's as tight as a drum. So it's okay. It's holding out. Yeah. And it's a real smooth finish. So Phil, I'd have a look around. You might have picked a real heavy one or one that's embossed or something. One of them I tried was embossed, had a slight a pattern embossed onto it, so it was slightly wrinkly. And It pulled out, but it was a bit of a mess. It didn't really work. I just experimented with that.
I'll
But
try
it's-
it
Yeah, like
again.
even the curved wingtips on my chipmunk came out beautiful. There was no wrinkles or issues at all.
No,
I'll give
no.
it another try. I'll give it another
I
I
try.
put
wetted
it
it
on
down
wet,
a
but-
fair
I got
amount.
plenty of it, and I got it in red. I get in red, white, blue, yellow, all kinds of colors.
I've only seen it in white. The doctor's
Oh gosh,
paper.
we got in all kinds of colors. But I'm gonna give stuff a try and see what happens. I've got a, in fact, I've got what you got over your head. Except mine's a
Did you-
spad. That's a Falker.
Did you put it on
yeah.
wet? Phil, did you put it
That
on
one's
wet?
covered in nylon. Actually,
I
gave
have
that
not
back
yet.
to the 70s.
I used the doctor paper on the wing, and that worked. And Tom put the doctor paper on a Tiyasaki, and I honestly think that everybody thinks he crashed the airplane and tore it all to pieces, but I think the paper blew up or gave up before the plane hit the ground, because I think that wing came apart before that plane hit the ground.
Yeah.
Everybody told me several people said it's not quite what happened, but I think it was.
Well,
Because
I
there were
put it on
shards of
wet,
paper in
just
the
like
air before the plane hit the ground.
yeah, I put it on wet, just like Silkspan. And, you know, as far as I could
Yeah.
tell, it handled exactly like Silkspan. I
Gotta go
kind
on
of,
wet.
I just had a cheap sprayer, so it got wetter than I wanted. So I blotted it a little bit with a towel, and then
Mhm.
put it on, and yeah, it seemed to be exactly the same as Silkspan to handle.
I'll give you a little tint when you go trying to do something like that with a paper like that. Cheap hairspray. Give it a shot with cheap hairspray. Then when you spray a light coat of dope on it, if you're gonna spray the whole thing. Now, if you're gonna dope it with a brush, don't do the hairspray. But it is just lacquer. But you
Yeah.
can take the cheap hairspray. I do it on the free flight models, and just a cheap hairspray to seal the tissue, and then I take a light coat of dope in a airbrush and spray that on it. It takes a good while to do it because you're just misting basically coats on, but
Yeah.
you get it built up to where it'll seal, and then you can put on a full coat of paint, and
Mhm.
it works. It's tedious, and you're not going to get a sparky finish. That ain't going to happen. It's just not going to do it, but you can make it work.
Well, listen, while we got guys on here, Phil, can we get a bit of feedback? The way I reckon tissue or silk span works, and possibly silk. I did mess around with silk on my Fock Wolf. Man, did I learn a lot there. I buggered it up on one part, and I, did a good job in others. But the way I kind of figure it is, okay, you got a material sitting in front of you. You're going to cover an area like an open bay. You want that material expanded as far as it's going to go. So
Right.
when you
Mhm.
pin it in position like an animal skin, it's
Mhm.
stretched out as far as it'll go. And you pin it around the edges with a bit of dope or whatever. Some guys use glue or spray, you know.
Spray adhesive.
And then as it dries, as the water evaporates slowly,
Mm-hmm.
because you want it to dry around the edges and take hold, it'll tighten up itself. Then you
Right.
increase that tightness and seal the gaps in the material with dope by applying dope. But if
Mhm.
you do not pre-swell it or pre-stretch it, whatever way you'd like to describe that process, you're going to end up with a saggy, baggy mess,
I
really.
don't-
At the end.
The easiest way
I
to
don't
explain
pre-stretch
this theory, hold on a minute. The easiest way to explain this theory is that silk span does not shrink. It stretches. So if you put it on
Yeah.
the frame and you wet it down and you stretch it out to the maximum, just like Jonathan said, dope
Yeah.
it down, it goes, when it dries, it goes back to its natural state, which is going to be tight. Now, this is
Yeah.
the same thing that's true with monocoat. If you put monocoat on, and I've seen it all the time, you put monocoat on here and you pull it out there and you tack it over here and you tack it over, and you got wrinkles in it, and then you hit it with a heat gun and shrink it up. When you put it in the sun, it's all wrinkled up again because it's going
Mhm.
back to its original state. So
Yeah.
if you take the monocoat and you tack it in the center and you pull it as tight as you can on the tip and tack it down, and then start working it around and get it tight before you ever put the heat gun to it, you're going to be better off. It's not going to bag up in the
Yeah.
sun.
Just
Yeah,
like
that
he
makes
said.
sense. That makes sense too. Yeah. Yes. I never thought of that, Sparky. Thank you. Now,
How about that?
now I
Sparky
know why
does have
some of
some
my
wisdom.
yeah, now I know why some of my monocoat goes wrinkly. Yeah.
You'd think he'd covered a plane with Monaco before.
I have.
Yeah, it's an interesting the whole thing. Well, that's what makes this whole hobby interesting is you learn all this stuff and
Yeah.
it's science. It's a bit of this, bit of that, bit of the other. Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
think
you
I've
have to.
got just about every kind of cover and material except that Oratex or whatever to just try out. And,
Oh.
I'll just try them all out on different models and see what I like. And, it's kind of a mood thing in a way sometimes, and depending on the model, and a time thing too. If it's a beater that I'm just going to go out and try and learn a maneuver with, I got no problem at all using a iron-on plastic covering.
You
Because it's
remember the
quick and easy.
coverall?
Yeah, the SIG coverall I've used that too. That's what I did my Cosmic Wind
God,
with.
that stuff's heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Whew.
Yeah. What I used to really like was that lightweight nylon that K&S sold back in the 70s.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of my models still covered with that, and there's no deterioration in the covering at all in the past 45 years or more. But I haven't been able to find that stuff. The closest is coverall, but it's heavy.
The coverall way too heavy. I put it on a 38-ounce model, and by the time I got the thing finished, it was 52 ounces, and it's 600. It's not even. It's 545 square inches, I think, best I remember. It's a small airplane. It's too small. It was just too much weight.
Yeah, I got given some sheets of I forget what they call it, sort of a blended silk that SIG I think carried. In colored. Anyway, I'm going to try that out when I put together my Viking old timer.
You'll like it. Which version of the Viking you got? The sheeted leading edge or the open bay?
I don't know. I haven't really even looked in the box that much.
And I bought one. I got the sheeted wing. I don't know whether the guys are probably going to be upset with me if I try to fly that thing, but I'm going to build it.
Yeah, I'm going to put one of my Sparkies on it too. I figure my 30 should be just about right for it.
Just before you,
if that isn't, I'll put my 46 on.
Just before we change this.
Right. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Sorry, guys. Just before we change subject, I've just texted Gerald. He was using a new material, and it might have been the stuff you were talking about a minute ago there, Bob. I don't know what it is, but it was an interesting material, a new stuff that he's got his hands on. I've just texted him. I'll let you know what it is when it comes back. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, what I talked about much at the beginning was Doculam.
Yeah, I don't
know
what
gosh,
sealing
can you still
documents.
get that stuff?
What's that?
Can you still get Doculam? That's what the combat guys.
Oh hell yeah! Just look up Amazon and buy it by the roll. I got to get around to getting a roll of it, but get the thinnest stuff you can get. They sell it in mills, and I use the stuff with the pre-folded through my laminator because for students and stuff I do a lot of laminating, but checklists and all kinds of stuff. But I took one of my overpriced preformed pieces and I tried it out on a half A wing, and it actually was pretty easy to use. But you don't get a lot of shrinkage out of it, so don't expect a compound curve and a wingtip to work out too well. But the stuff is tougher than hell.
One of the guys around here used to use it on combat wings.
Yeah, well, they back when they used to use what the heck did they call it? Mylar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't explode when it got hit like Mylar did.
Yeah.
Mylar you didn't just poke a hole in it, it shattered.
But it was dirt cheap to buy,
Yeah, that was the beauty of it.
especially if you knew anyone in a drafting or print shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I should have
Just
bought
like
some of that stuff
almost
when I had the chance.
almost free airplanes when I was a kid. I'd make them once in a while, just rectangular Hershey bar wings. And I got the idea from one of the model airplane magazines. You just do a rudimentary framework with a couple of spars and a few ribs, build your control system in. And you went in the old days when they used the aluminum sheets for the printing shops.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'd go and get the stuff from them for free and just contact cement it on, roll it around. But as soon as it went in, it was toast. I mean, it just crumpled.
Yeah.
But all I was paying for was a few pieces of 1/4-inch balsa and a bit of sheet goods for ribs, and you had a wing in a few minutes. And if you really wanted to be funny about it, you could take, especially the cartoons, you could just leave the print side out, and you have a decorated airplane with the cartoons. But anyway, that's ancient
That's
technology
pretty
now.
neat. That's pretty neat. Yeah. I tell you, we've had some crazy times. I'm afraid we've lived through the best part of the modeling because nobody's doing things for it like they used to. It bothers me that it's becoming a dying art, it seems like. But anyway, we're going to enjoy it while we
Computer
can.
killed that.
Do what?
Cell phone and the computer killed that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what we need to do though is figure out how to get some of these kids off the computers and back into this. But I don't think
Ain't
it's ever
happening.
going to happen. Ain't going
We
to
need
happen.
flying
They're too-
computers.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
really.
they got them. They're called drones.
Oh God. My grandson just got one for Christmas, and I went down to South Carolina today. My wife and I drove down there to spend Christmas with him. He's the only young one we got left, so he's the only one that's really, the fascination is there. The others are all grown, and the other three are all grown. But Silas is 7, and everything is new and everything is fascinating. And we got him this RC car that you don't do your thumbs, you move your hand and make this thing do all kinds of crazy things. And he picked that up in about 10 minutes, figured it out. Kid is some kind of crazy smart, but he got a drone.
I'm gonna try out something.
He got a drone. His mama got him a drone. And first thing he did was flew it into the tree. The next thing he did was flew it into one of the lights. He just said, whoa, stop. Let's take this thing to a field somewhere where he can fly it and have some fun with it without tearing it up. So then he goes and lays it down in the driveway, and he goes to show me how he can shoot a foul shot on his new basketball goal. So help me, the ball missed it by about a foot. I mean, from the top of the goal, smash right beside the drone. I just knew he'd just destroyed that $100 drone. I said, oh my gosh. But he didn't. He missed it.
Okay,
Take a look on it, Phil.
Let me get the
and see
chat
if there's
box
a
here. Hold on a minute. Let me get a chat box. Marcella Grand says, hope everyone's having a good Christmas. We got a super chat from him for $10 New Zealand. And Pete says, silk chevron from Joanne Fabrics. And then Pete says, Keith McKee turned me on to it. Yeah, there you go.
Cool deal. Sparky, I got a question for you while you got focused on you like that. Where did you get that muffler?
Who are you talking to?
You.
This muffler here? It's Randy Smith.
Yeah, another one you can't get anymore.
Of course. Unobtainium.
Yep.
Made out of unobtainium.
So Phil, on that little drone, it probably doesn't have it being a cheap one. but take a look and see if there's a switch on the side of it that can have the auto stabilization function.
It does.
And okay, because how is he? It mustn't have any sensors then if he could fly it into a tree or whatever.
And everything turned off. He was just trying to figure it. He's very, very smart. He is not very patient.
Okay. Because
So
mine,
we're reading the instructions.
mine, I
I'm
have
thinking,
to override everything to be able to hit anything.
Yeah,
Then
well,
again,
everything-
mine's $1,500.
oh yeah, my daughter's got one that's so big, and it carries a camera you can take that thing up 500 feet and it can read the newspaper. It's ridiculous.
When
But
I
it's
went
for-
down to visit Chris Cox, I wanted to do an overhead video of him flying his pattern,
Yeah.
but we were too close to the Vancouver control zone,
Oh yeah.
and it wouldn't let me turn it on. Any airport I'm at, I can't use it. But our indoor flying with the RC club I'm with, it's in a sports center in Leduc. And I'm kind of curious because it's probably blocking the GPS signal to it. And I'm kind of wondering if it would let me take it off inside the building. So next time we have a fun fly, I'm going to take it out and try it.
No idea.
All that restriction and all that stuff is just another money grab, because how many
Yeah.
airplanes, are affected by drones?
There's been 2 in Canada, and both were run into by the police. And they'll levy these asshole fines, pardon my French, on anybody, a kid out using a drone in a park or something. They'll hit them thousands of dollars. There was a cop in Ontario smashed into a Cessna 172 on final approach to the airport. And the city paid $1,000 fine. Nothing happened to the cop. The other one was in BC about 3 years ago when an RCMP drone operator smucked it into an RCMP helicopter, causing $185,000 damage, and no charges were laid.
Ouch.
So the only 2 incidents I know of involving drones hitting aircraft were both done by the police.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it was a
guys
case
got-
of, the police have investigated themselves and found nothing wrong.
You guys probably haven't seen my video that I did when that RFID chip thing where you had to register first came out. I did a video on Stunt Hangar right to the FAA about FOD walk down and about flying the control line airplane in the back of the pickup. How are you going to run one of these into a building unless you walk into it? So fortunately, they got the message.
Yeah, at least here our model organization were jerks about it, but the Transport Canada right off the bat said control line planes and free flight are not RPAS remotely piloted aircraft, and therefore nothing applies.
Yeah,
But and at
so
least
was a
here,
V1. A V1 was a free flight.
kind of, it had a timer to kick on down elevator and kill the engine.
Well, so does a free flight. It has
Yeah.
a dethermalizer.
Yeah.
I mean, us modelers could figure something out that didn't have to have controls to shoot at them if we had to.
Yeah. At least we don't have that stupid identification chip in the required. Not
Yet.
yet.
Well, we're tethered, so we should never have to have that.
No, I'm talking about my RC planes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to find the pilot of an RC or of a control line airplane, look 70 foot from the airplane.
Yeah, you'll find him. See
Okay,
what the
Sparky.
airplane's flying around. It'll be the pilot.
Sparky, got a funny story about that. Friend Paul was out flying his stunter at in the recreational fields at Leduc, and some city employee parks woman comes up and screams at him to land that drone now. And she was all upset because he didn't. Runs out of fuel, of course, lands, and she's up there hostile at him about, you can't fly drones here, blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to explain it's not a drone. He pulls out the information, the Canadian Air Regulations, and shows her. She called the police. There's an RCMP come by. The guy had never seen a control line airplane before. Oh, yeah. She'd also said that there's airliners flying over and you're going to cause one of them to crash. Said if an airliner is flying over at 70 feet, we got a hell of a lot more to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, now Paul is ex aircraft mechanical engineer A&P to you guys, and he was the site boss for Air Canada here in Edmonton. He kind of knows a little bit about airplanes and the rigs. Anyway, the RCMP shows up, and he explains to him, shows him. He thought that was really neat. He'd never heard of that, and it's okay if I watch you for a bit. So he does a couple of flights, and the cop said, "This is great. You carry on, do whatever you want with it." So that was kind of a funny story, but yeah, some petty bureaucrat that doesn't know her butt from a hole in the ground and figures she knew everything about air regulations, aircraft, and drones.
Down in Cincinnati, they have a dedicated two dedicated control line circles right next to the airport. And there had been no traffic in that, nobody flying in those circles for years. And when they started back up, the airport came over to shut them down. They had the police watching, thinking that we were flying drones out there. And I don't know, one of the guys down there says, "Well, what do you think these circles are for?" Duh. And then the other guy, he got arrested down in Miami for flying a missile. It was a speed plane, and he was warming up for the
I heard
NASA,
about that one.
and they arrested him for flying a missile. And they had to take him to the hobby shop and prove to him that that was a speed plane, not a missile.
When you say speed plane, you talking one on control line?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the
Well-
jobs that does 180 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
like a bullet.
yeah.
Thank God it wasn't a pulse jet. He would have been put in jail.
Probably.
Hey,
Yeah.
Phil, I got a question for you. I love your tree in the background, but I'm kind of trying to figure out how many little elves you've got in there running like hell to make it go round and round.
I have no idea. Hmm. That thing is 31 years old. It's an artificial tree. It's 31 years old this year.
Yeah.
And my wife is a very talented, very patient woman, puts this thing together every year. I
Looks
help her
great.
put I usually help her put the lights on it. I didn't this year. Except the angel at the top. I put the spotlights on it that shine on the angel's face. And the funny effect of it is on the ceiling, there's a ring up there that looks like she's got a halo from the lights, and everybody really likes that. But that's just that's my wife's handiwork. She is very, very talented. And she's a very patient woman. I mean, that she's put up with me for 49 years. So
The cats don't bother that tree?
I don't have a cat. I got a dog. He
Oh,
don't
okay.
bother.
Yeah, our
No,
cats.
I'm allergic to cats.
Our
I've got a
cats
friend that's
find
got a
that
giant, got a Mancoon. We went over their house the other night. Man, Vicky and I both been sneezing and coughing and everything else last 3 days ever since we went over there. I'm telling them I don't mind the little cat, but that daggone Mancoon's about to kill us. Maine Coon, whatever.
Oh,
Well, all of
kids
our-
have
Marky,
a-
that's a good looking little airplane.
Will be. As I get some trim on it, I can't figure out what to put on it.
All of
Yeah,
our
that's
tree
probably-
ornaments are cat friendly. That and we try and encourage them to, knock the little balls off the bottom and play with them. And they're too well behaved, and they won't do it. Little
We
buggers.
got Gordon Delaney in the house. What's going on, Gordon?
Oh, send everybody home. No, it's
Lower
quiet.
your camera. All we see is the top of your head.
Kilroy is here.
I see. Yeah.
That's better.
Well, even then,
You're fine. That's
there
good.
you go.
48 ounces, Gordy, as is. So it's going to be 50 ounces because it's still got clear and trim to go on it.
That's okay. With that many square inches, it's gonna fly fine.
I hope you're right.
What altitude are you flying at?
I think about 750 foot.
Yeah, see, our field is 4,400. And that many squares would fly fine at this altitude.
Even that high? Wow.
Yeah, I keep wishing somebody dig a deep hole for us to fly in.
Drain the Salt Lake.
Yeah,
It's only 14 feet deep.
Oh,
yeah, that's not very deep.
First time I went to Tucson was the first time I'd ever flown at altitude. And then throw in the wind. And then I understood why Charlie told me to be sure and bring some 15% nitro fuel to put in that Fox 35.
what's the altitude at Tucson?
I have no idea.
Can't be very high.
I know it's high. And then we went to Colorado and flew there. It was right at a mile high there. But that was with sailplanes. And they didn't stay up like I was used to them staying up either. But once you got the hang of it, when you came home, once you got the plane flying where it would fly right in Tucson, in Colorado, when we came home the next weekend, we had another sailplane contest, and the problem was getting the darn things down.
Yeah,
Pop the spoilers, point the nose down, and pray that you don't flutter something. It was wild.
when we go to Tucson, we're happy because it's only 2,800 feet there.
Only 2,800
Okay.
feet.
Yeah,
We're about
Real good.
2,300 here.
you're at sea level.
No, we're 2,300 here.
Oh, okay. So
We're
you're
900 and something here, and it's
See what St. Louis is.
now, Bob. I haven't forgot about the Belfry plans,
Oh, wow.
but Bart thought he had a copy, and he's supposed to be trying to dig them up.
No rush. That'd be wonderful if you could find them. Absolutely. So I had a neat idea for a Christmas ornament for next year, guys, for my tree.
what's that?
Well, the angel sitting spiked up her butt on top of the tree inspired me when I was watching a Windy video on his trains. And he's got that little flying field with a B-25 going round and round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking I'm going to rig up something for next year that my angel's going to be flying a model control line plane round and round on the top of the tree.
Well, I flew a combat plane off the roof of the house in wintertime. Had to get up and sweep the snow off so we could stand up.
Mm.
I was at Mark's house. I said, "You gonna move your cars?" Because from where I was standing to the street, I was launching right over the top of his cars. And he says, "If you can't fly over those cars, get off my roof."
Oh my goodness.
Well, I lied. We're only 466 foot.
Hmm.
There used to be a guy. There used to be a guy here in New Zealand.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh, sorry. There used to be a guy here in New Zealand, Bill Bell. Oh, well, he's still around, but he used to have a flying field near the highway south of Auckland. And Bill Bell, some of you people watching might remember him. He's been all around New Zealand, like all over the world, representing New Zealand at speed in years gone by. And he had this flying circle right next to the main highway heading out of Auckland. And he used to get the ride-on mower and stick a scarecrow on the ride-on mower, and he had it tethered to the center speed pole, to the pylon, and the thing would go round and round and round. And he said it was quite amusing watching the expression on the face of people going past in the car watching this motor going round and round and round with the scarecrow on it.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I've monopolized enough. I should shut up and get off. Go up, join the missus. So again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll be seeing you before the New Year anyway, and all the best.
And same to you.
You too.
Hey, take care, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Jonathan, I'm gonna have to get off here too. But Jonathan, the trick to this thing, every year we buy 2 ornaments. But people also give us, my kids and other people give us ornaments sometimes too. But every year we had, like this year we went to a one of those, what do you call it thing with the horses, Vicky? Carousel. I hadn't ridden this thing. I rode it when I was 5 years old, and they reopened it this past year. And I went out and rode it, and I told the girl that was riding it. She said, "Do you remember what you rode?" I said, "Yeah, golden palomino," and it was looking at a dang bird, a blue bird of some kind. Yeah, it's an ostrich. It's right over there. So we went out, and I sat on this horse that I'd sit on 54 years ago.
Were you tall enough this time?
Yeah, I was tall enough this time. And she took a picture of my wife and I. She sat on the one next to me. So I framed that. But anyway, we also bought this little crystal. Well, it stopped now. But about right here, somewhere on here, there's a little crystal carousel. And then there's a Wright flyer on there. We went down to the beach, down to Kill Devil Hill, and saw the Wright brothers flight spot, whatever you call it. I can't, first flight.
Kitty Hawk.
Just different things like that. But after 48 years, we've got 6 boxes of ornaments. The tree only holds about 2. So we kind of alternate them. But there's a lot of stuff to go on there. That tree's 5 feet across the bottom and 8 feet tall. And it still just barely holds 2 boxes full of stuff. So we have a lot of fun. There's another tree in the hallway that's got her fancy ornaments on it, and it's got a star at the top of it. But we love Christmas. We love decorating and having a good time. And the kids come by and see things. And then I was in traffic signals for years, so I got a stop sign. I put Santa at the top of it, and then here at the bottom. So Santa, stop here. And it's a stop sign. They come around the corner, and of course the stop sign lights up. Anyway, we have a lot of fun. I'm
Good
just
stuff.
a kid at heart. I can't help it.
Bill,
But anyway,
Well,
I like her.
what you got, John? John
Well, I
Miller.
just wanted to ask Sparky a question.
Okay.
Sparky,
I want to ask
did
you.
you get Sparky? Did you get the cut
Yeah,
files?
I got the
Isn't that
files, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they came through. Thank you.
Okay,
Cool deal.
that was it.
All right. We'll see you later.
Well, looky here. Howard showed up.
Hey, Howard.
Hi. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Oh,
well, fellers, I didn't get up as early as John did to go play Santa Claus, but I've been up since about 5:30. I think I'm gonna go put it to bed. Y'all have a great weekend, great week. Merry Christmas, everybody. Glad to see everybody in good shape. Try to stay out of trouble. We'll see you Friday night, I hope.
okay. You have a good night.
You
Too
too.
late for that,
Have a
mate.
good night, Phil.
See you, Phil.
Thank you. Good night.
How are you, Howard?
Jolly good.
So that was an official Jive Combat Team greeting.
Yeah.
Good. I was afraid I'd missed it.
Mm.
Hey, John,
Yeah,
which airfoil did you send him? Did you send him the one with the blunt leading edge that's cut off, or the one that was knife edged?
I sent him he wanted the files for the Pathfinder LE.
Oh, I'm thinking the profile. Oh, I
No.
thought it was the profile he was
I thought-
thinking.
No, I thought you told me though that the airfoil that I put on there, you decided was the better airfoil.
I was talking about the profile.
I got profile.
Yeah, on the profile,
Which one was you talking about,
you-
Sparky?
The LE. I already got profile plans. I wanted the plans to the LE,
Oh, I see. Okay,
the tapered wing.
right. Refresh my memory. How many square inches did we say that airplane had?
Well, if we figured half span,
Wasn't it 640 or something?
I'm not sure.
It's in that neighborhood, yeah.
There's a kitty.
I think it's like
You figure half
647.
that
or
here.
something like that.
It's one of them stupid metric rulers. 12.5 inches times 48, less a little bit for the tips.
It tells you right in the title block what the square inches
I
are.
thought you were talking about
Measured
mine.
out with using the computer.
I'm talking about the one he's building, John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
12.5 times 58. 725 minus
A little,
40.
yeah.
Huh? I'll say 40. About 685.
That's gonna fly fine. Now, what engine's on there?
It's a Brian Gardner Super Tiger 60. So it's just, no, Super Tiger 46. It's a ABC Leinert 46.
Yeah. That's a good setup.
Clunk tank. I got it adjustable so you can, I don't have to worry about.
Raised and lowering it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna drill 2 holes through here and run the fill through the other side so I don't have to monkey around with the muffler and stuff.
What, you don't want to run a muffler or what?
No, it's that in order to fill it, I have to reach underneath here and pull it off.
Oh,
It'd be just a whole lot easier just to have the tubes up on top.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That way you don't burn your fingers.
Right. It turned out relatively nice. I went back over it and I kind of doctored up the spots that were, because I don't use primer, that were not perfect. You know, I redid the flap and there's a spot on the rudder back there. Fix it with some simple green or, acro green and then touch it up. And it's gonna get clear on it yet. So it's 48 ounces right now, so kind of is what it is. It'll be 50, I bet.
That's okay. That's a lot of square inches.
Yeah.
It ain't quite as big as my other one though. The other one's even more, and it's 52. The full bodied one. What's that?
Wow.
Yeah, the blue one is 52 and this one's 53. And this, I can't remember what we said on square inches for that, but mid cord, quarter span or whatever you want to call it, it's 13. Yeah, 13 by 58.
Wow.
So clear 13 times 58 equals 754 minus 40, 714, somewhere in there. Better make sure this is what the wingspan is on this. That one's 52 and this one is it might be a little smaller now that I think about it. No, it's not right. 55 times, yeah, 12.5 times 5, 687. It's about 640. This one, 650, somewhere in there. This is only a 55-inch wingspan. That one's 58-inch.
Sparky, are you going to run that engine or break it in the plane, or will you bench run it?
I'll take it out to the field. I'll run it a couple of minutes on the ground, cycling it, and then let it cool off and then fly it.
Oh, righto.
What's
Yep.
that?
Oh, yeah, I said righto. That's good. That motor, I haven't even run it yet. I haven't had time, but it'll be fine, as you say. My one, the Merco. I haven't had chance to put it in the test bed yet, and it's only 5 minutes work. But oh boy, I seem to be busy doing other stuff.
Well, the Merco's a good motor. It's just an ounce heavier than a Super Tiger.
Yeah, I can hardly wait. After the Nationals, I'll have a chance to get on and finish this Hurricane. Get the damn thing in the air.
Back in my younger years, there was a lot of people running Mercos, wasn't there, Gordon?
Yep. The only thing with the Merkel, it took a lot of running time to break him in.
I sent him two, a 61 and a 49, 49 and a 61.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, but I only sent him two, 49 and 61. I didn't have a 30.
Yeah, they're both excellent engines. Sparky, I reckon the 61's hardly done anything at all. And I'd say the 49's almost brand new, if not brand new. So,
they got good compression.
Yeah. And did you say, Bob, they take a bit of running in?
Gordon.
Oh, Gordon. Sorry, Gordon. They take a bit of running in, Mirko.
Well, yes. I usually had to put a couple quarts through mine before it really settled in and become dependable.
Okay.
But once it got broke in, it was a nice running motor.
Yeah.
A lot more power than a Fox.
Mhm. We've got one in the Granderson estate. I forget what size it is.
I've just had Sparky, I've just had a text from Gerald. It was Brodak heat shrink covering. There's no more detail. That's all he told me. Brodak heat shrink covering. And it's got when I saw it, it had a sort of like a grain in it. It almost looked like a fabric, like a silk, but it was much more grainy than a silk. So I don't know whether you guys are familiar with it, but he painted over it. It was a good, good strong material. It seemed quite heavy, however.
It's hard to beat silk span.
Yeah.
Japanese tissue, but like I've said several times, Jerry Phelps didn't teach me how to do it, because the thing with Japanese tissue is you can't go around with tips. It's paper. It doesn't, you can't pull it around. I don't know how he did it, but all his airplanes, all those Patriots were 100% Japanese tissue.
Oh, I thought he changed the silk spin on the tips, didn't he?
I don't know. The way I understood it, he did it all Japanese tissue. And his finishes were immaculate.
Oh, beautiful airplanes.
Mm.
Now, did he double cover that in jet tissue?
I don't know. He was going to teach me how to do it before he passed away, and I guess I waited too long to get over there and figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I know. They're at the Nats. He got real sick or something, and his wife ran out there and took the handle and flew the rest of the flight out.
Yeah.
A lot of nice people's passed away. I just wonder what my number's going to be up.
My brother just sent me a text today that's let's see here. I'll read it to you. says, and hope you're having a Merry Christmas. And I said, love you, Merry Christmas. He says, wish we could get together. Would love to see you before it's all over. And I wrote back, what's over? I have about 100 years left.
That's the attitude. Yeah. There's rude jokes about how well you feel. But I won't go there. Yeah.
Well, all he's got to do is he wants to see. He needs to come here. I went there last time. I did an iron butt ride on my motorcycle. I woke up one morning here and I rode to Denver, Colorado, and did that within 24 hours. Went to sleep in Colorado.
Wow.
He needs to come here. I'll tell you when it really got me. When I hit that what do they call that? The Parkway or Pike or whatever that is in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
Where you can't get on and can't get off. And about the time I got to one of them rest areas that are in the center, you know, where the gas station, and man, my butt was killing me. But that's why they call it the iron butt ride.
So what kind of gas mileage did you get on your bike?
I think I probably got about 45, I guess.
Hmm.
If I didn't hammer it very hard, you get about, well, I don't know, you get a little over 100 miles to the tank, so 5-gallon tank, so about 25, I guess. If I pull in the trailer, I only got about 15 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
Hmm.
I used to get 51 on my Kawasaki.
Well,
Oh.
my dresser was a built dresser. It had stroker crank and, you know, camshafts and thunderheader, but I had $1,000 Road Zeppelin air seat on it. That was the only reason that I could make it that far.
You know,
Like truck seat.
when I worked at the head shop, all we did is high performance heads, you know, and we get pallets of the was it the big Harley, and we'd put on our CNC and we'd do all this port work on one side, take them off, flip it over, do the exhaust side, and we'd do, oh, I'm guessing about 15 a day. About time to get done, another pallet would show up.
Were you doing shovel heads or twin cam heads or Evo heads? Do you remember?
I don't, it's been so long.
My twin cam had 202 intakes and 180 exhausts. And the springs were, you know, cut for high lift, and super Ron's porting service did my heads for me. It cost $1,000 to have them ported.
Yeah.
New seats put in, beryllium seats or whatever. They were good heads. I mean, flowed really well.
What sort of bike did you have, Gordon? And Kawasaki, you say?
I said Kawasaki, but I meant Yamaha.
Oh, okay.
So,
I've
From the
owned
people who
Suzuki.
brought you Pearl Harbor.
what's that?
From the people who brought you Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kawasaki Industries. The Yamaha, I've had Yamahas, I've had Suzukis, but I've never had a Kawasaki.
I'll
I've
tell you,
ridden Triumph. I've never ridden a Harley.
I've never ridden a Harley either. Was coming home from work. I worked night shift. So on the way home, you know, it was probably 12:30, quarter to 1 in the morning. And I pull up there on 8 South, and two more bikes pulled up right alongside me. And I look at them, they look at me, and they start gunning their bikes. So I started gunning mine. That light turned green to 3, was just blasted out of there. And we're about halfway down. And look up, there's a cop sitting at the light at the next intersection. And fortunately, none of us locked up the tires. We all just kind of come down together, you know. Well, when he went through, he makes a U-turn. And I only had to go 2 blocks and I was home, and I turned to my driveway and he followed them up 3rd East. I thought, wow, was I lucky? You know, we'd probably be doing, I imagine, 75 to 85 and a half a block. You know, you got to have a pretty good hot rod to keep up with the bike there in the first block.
I sold my dresser to put the roof on this house about, God, it got to be 10 years ago now. This is about, I was still riding in 15, so not quite 10 years, 7 years.
Yeah, my boy was in a real bad accident, was in a coma. Beautiful sunny day, and he wasn't paying attention, run a stop sign and hit a car broadside.
Oh boy.
No helmet. Knocked him
Yeah.
40, 50 feet, and he hit his head on one of those steel light poles. And I'm at a contest at Whittier Narrows, and my wife called Bart's wife. Bart's wife called Bart. So I called my wife, and she says, go ahead, there's nothing you can do. So I put in the last flight, loaded up the car, and drove back. I was back in Salt Lake about 6:30, 7 o'clock the next morning. Anyway, time I got there, he was just waking up. So anyway, his wife says, tell your dad what you're gonna buy. A big truck. Well, lo and behold, last year he bought a Harley. So now he's back on a bike again.
Be careful. You know, I find it ironic. I quit motorcycles the same year that Wendy took them back up. And he's got he's got
Yeah.
10 years on it. I said, Wendy, you know, the ground hasn't gotten any softer. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to come to Salt Lake with him and 2 other buddies, and I was going to put them up overnight. And something happened on the ride; it fell through, and so he didn't end up coming. So I told you he fly his Tiger Cat, didn't I? It flew awesome. And the thing I liked the most, didn't pull your arm off like my twin does. He had 2 Aero Tiger 36s in it. And my first flight, somebody came over and says, was that you flying? I says, yeah. He says, that was a better flight than when he flew with the official. I mean, that's how nice it flew. You just pick it up and feel it home.
From what I understand, he's still got some of his models. He could jump right back in it.
Somebody says he was at his house and there was no trophies, no airplanes, nothing that even gave you a hint that he was a modeler. But I think he's got an attic and he put everything up in the attic. So.
Well, he's using all that stuff he learned from model airplanes on motorcycles, making carbon fiber parts. And I guess he's always been a painter. He's painting bikes.
Oh, yeah.
This is one coat. That's one. That's 2. How the fuck he gets away with that?
So how many coats you got on that airplane?
1 coat of white, and then some touch up.
That's it?
Yeah.
No clear.
Well, the clear, I have 1 quart. See, I do my 1 quart method. Take 1 quart, split it in 2. It has 1 quart of clear underneath, then 1 coat of white, which is 4 or 5 ounces of fluid ounces of white, and then I'll put 1 quart of clear over the top of it.
I see.
And that'll be 2 ounces, 1 to 2 ounces, and that's it. And when I'm out of that paint, I'm done painting.
Oh, but you got a bare spot. Whoops.
Tough. I should have known before I'm done. That's the discipline. You can't go back to the can and dip. If you do, you're gonna end up with a heavy airplane.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of anxious to hear how that one's going to fly.
Well, I got 3 new ones to test out when the spring comes so far. I'll have another one because I got another box of wood coming.
Wow.
And I should have 1 out of 17 that'll work for next year.
Well, I'm still working on my SIG box. And when I saw the prices there that Elliot sent me on the email, I looked at some of the prices and boy, I was getting nauseated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but you know what? I bought from Elliot. You know what? Those prices that Elliot's offering are 250% less than Balsa USA. They want $17 a sheet.
Well, I know, but when you're used to paying 29 cents a sheet,
Right, I understand. I still got some of that 29-cent wood up there.
I do too.
You know, $1.33 for 1/4 inch by 4 by 36. Good wood. I got some of that here too. $1.33.
Well, I think I mentioned before, I was looking for a firm piece of wood to make my rudder out of on my Pathfinder profile. And they didn't have any. So I had to use some 4.5 pound wood to make my rudder. So then I covered it with carbon fiber. So that stiffened it up a little bit. John, you have a new look.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting the butt end of my cat.
Well, guys, I'm going to end the live stream.
Right, guys.
Go into the after party, or we'll just end the stream whatsoever. I appreciate you guys watching out there on
I'm
YouTube
good with that.
land. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Fair winds, tight lines. We'll see you.